You're listening to Real Conversations, where every week we take a peek at the favorite movies of fascinating people. Real Conversations is hosted by Brian Coley, the founder of Art Within and Real. Today, Brian sits down with Jeff SHINABARGER. Jeff is a social entrepreneur and the author of More or Less and Yes or No. Jeff is executive director of Plywood People and has a vision to make Atlanta a center for social innovation while personally engaging in over 250 problem-solving startups. You can find more about Jeff at plywoodpeople.com.
All right, I'm here today with Jeff SHINABARGER. Jeff, tell the world out there what is on your top 10 films.
My top 10 films, not just my top 10 films, the top 10 films of all time. They compete with everybody. These are the best ever.
These are the best ever. There's no way that anybody's list could be as good as yours.
Absolutely, and everyone else would say the same thing, right?
Right.
My top 10, my number, should we go backwards or forward, or does it matter?
It doesn't really matter. If you want to put them in order, that's really cool. I don't require it, It's just whatever you want to tell folks is on your top 10. I'm
going to do 9, and then I'm going to tell you what my top is. Oh. Is that okay? Because ranking is hard, but
there's a sense of drama in this already.
There.
Go ahead.
Well, the classic for me growing up was Hoosiers. I grew up in the Midwest and loved basketball. So the Indiana story, I grew up in Michigan. He was in Indiana, but the story of Hoosiers always brings drama to my life. It's all my ambitions fit into one high school movie, right?
Really?
Classic Hoosiers, yeah.
We'll dive into that in a minute. That sounds good.
Artistically, one of my favorite movies is Once.
Yeah.
And the music's amazing. I think the storyline's amazing. I think the uniqueness of musicians acting, I think, is really unique. I've always loved that kind of indie, unique film.
Yeah, it's a great film.
In recent years, now this was a debated film, and most people wouldn't put it in their top 10, but this was about Steve Jobs. It's called Jobs.
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher was in it.
Yeah.
And, from a storyline perspective, it is what it is. It was his life. Some people loved Steve Jobs. Some people hated Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Probably still to this day. But I think for me, we can get into this later, but as a business mind and as an innovative mind, it just always inspires me.
Yeah. It's one of those movies that you sit there and go, man, what am I doing with my life?
Yes, I could do more. I need to think bigger, right?
Yeah.
And I loved the biography that was written behind it. And anyway,
yeah, that's good.
Another great sport. I love sports movies. Remember the Titans. I think the combination of the racial tension and just the inspiration that goes with it. I loved that.
Yeah,
I still remember one scene in it that is still one of my favorites.
Yeah, tell me about that scene. We'll just go ahead and
jump in.
Yeah, jump in on that one.
So the scene that I love is when he wakes everybody up in the middle of the night. And it's raining.
Yeah.
And he makes people go up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill, and that's what brings the team together.
Nice.
I think that was kind of a pinnacle moment in the movie that unites a team.
That's really cool because, several people have Remember the Titans on their top 10, but when I usually dive into a scene, it's not that one, which I love personally because it just shows the uniqueness of everybody's take on different films. But specifically, what is in that scene that kind of speaks to you?
Well, I think in every team, we wrestle with learning to work together, right? And we always have someone to blame, and it's usually the leader. Right? In that moment, Denzel Washington doesn't care what anyone says to him. He just knows that they have to come together in this scenario.
Yeah.
And they don't know it at first, but what ends up happening is the team chemistry, it takes shape in that moment.
Yeah.
And I think as a leader, I was put as a leader as a young age and continually find myself in these problem-solving scenarios where I have to lead people. And even I lead a nonprofit now, even doing that, like bringing a board together to have common chemistry and seeing the uniquenesses in one another and how that can make a better organization. I think that always is a hope. And for me, I'm not a coach. I'm not Denzel Washington in Remember the Titans, but I've always had these ambitions that would be like, when you're in that moment that is so, you're at an all-time low as a leader, how do you motivate people and bring people together to accomplish something extraordinary, right?
Well, speaking of extraordinary, I see Cool Runnings on your
Cool Runnings. Oh, come on.
No, I can definitely say that no one's ever had Cool Runnings on their top 10.
Feel the rhythm. You remember it, right? Feel the ride. Okay, it's bobsled time. No, love the movie. I love the joy that I get from it. Yeah. Sometimes some of my favorite movies, the thing that I love most about movies is it takes me away from my real life, right? It takes me into another world and I get lost in it.
Yeah.
And Cool Runnings is always one of those ones, like, if you're in a down mood, if you watch Cool Runnings, you will smile. You'll smile a lot, right? I don't know. That's why I love it.
That's good. Yeah.
The other one's Little Miss Sunshine. I remember I got to see that at Sundance when it came out.
You're going to smile a lot on that one, too.
Amazing story. One that I don't know if other people have this, The Game. I think this, have you heard that video?
Yeah, a few people have. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's been a story that kind of blew my mind when I first watched it.
Yeah. Michael Douglas.
It was so unpredictable. And it's this idea that everything around you is orchestrated, except you don't know it, right? And so I think there's this kind of deeper meaning in the whole thing that has really connected with me.
Yeah.
From a racial perspective and from just a tension perspective, there's a few movies in this capacity that's played a big role in my life. Is the movie Crash, an incredible storyline, how it was woven together so perfectly. That's a great one. Two more. The Hotel Rwanda. I've been to Rwanda. It's played a really big impact on my life. Got involved in a project there a few years back. So that one was incredible. But my number one movie of all time, drum roll please, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Is Good Will Hunting.
Yay.
Yes. And I bet that's not an uncommon favorite film.
It shows up a lot on people's top 10. It is probably one of the, we have a top 10 of people's top 10, and it's on that
on that list.
Yeah, list. So it does resonate with different people. But, one of the things that we'll be exploring in this conversation is just, how it fits with everything else with you, So tell me, if that is the one, why is it the one for you?
Well, I think the premise in the movie that's interesting for me is the ambition to be something greater than what you are, right? To pursue, to understand your giftedness and to do that. Yeah. That's the storyline in it that really connects with me.
Cool. Like that is totally different than a lot of people when they respond to that film. It's either the mentoring or the, emotional connection between the two, or the father image, or different things like that. So what's cool about, when you say that, I go, wow, that connects to Steve Jobs, there's a sense in which the giftedness, and there's a lot of giftedness in your films, whether it's in sports or whether it's in, whatever they're taking on, even Little Miss Sunshine, with the maybe the false sense of giftedness that she has, but there still is this sort of gift that's being preserved in some way.
Yes.
Tell me about how that relates to your life, and is it you that wants to kind of bring out the gift in someone else, or is it kind of just aspiring yourself to being kind of Will and finding your giftedness and how it can come into the world? I
mean, I think there's a lot of things really when you talk about the mentoring, when you think about all those different relationships that were in, Will's life.
Yeah.
They were all pointing towards what is amazing about this person? How do these people encourage him to pursue this, to be this, to even his best friend,
Yeah.
It's like, that moment when he's the hope of showing up at the front door and he doesn't answer the door, right?
There, yeah.
Like, I think we all have a friend that we hope that for them, I think for me, in my own purpose, calling, perspective, I think very early on I was put in positions of great leadership when I didn't deserve it. And I've always wondered why. Why did people see that in me? What do they see in me that I don't see in myself? And man, that's a lot of responsibility. What does that mean for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Why do I keep getting myself in these positions, right? And then I've had people speak into my life that see things I didn't see about myself. And then I think even in my role now, I think I see these things in other people.
Yeah.
And I do believe deeply in this kind of interconnectedness of purpose and calling, and how when you fully are pursuing what you are designed to do, that my life becomes better because of that in community. And so I'm trying to encourage that in other people that I know really well and believe in, and see the potential in their lives. I want to be that encourager for them.
Yeah. So you become Sean or Robin Williams' character for them, huh?
I do think I play that unique role in a lot of people's lives. I wouldn't say I am him.
Right.
But I think for some reason, people do listen to what I have to say.
That's good. So, and I would say that based on your top 10, just looking at across it, one of the things that I found as a uniter and everything was inspiring. These are characters who inspire, whether it's Denzel Washington's character in Remember the Titans, inspiring these kids to kind of be the best of themselves. Steve Jobs being a very inspirational figure. The character, Don Cheadle's character in Hotel Rwanda being such a source of inspiration. I just see a lot of, when I look at this page, I see a lot of inspiration, inspirational characters or inspirational stories, where it's the underdog kind of Hoosiers, cool runnings, where you come away inspired by the fact that these people were able to win something or kind of be on, go to the Olympics and compete. So tell me about what you do, what Plywood People is, and kind of how inspiration is a part of that.
Yeah, your depictions of my movie were right on. Can I add one thing to that too?
Yeah, totally.
I would say I often like in dramas when there's a lead character that has an ambition and a purpose that is greater than themselves.
Yeah.
That's something for me that's is
totally there, right? Yeah.
Is a driver. Even like as you're talking, I was thinking about other things that I love to watch. I mean, even just recently I watched is it The Chef's Table on Netflix, this documentary series, and there's this story of a guy that is a chef in Chicago, and he's always trying to reimagine what food looks like. And anyway, so it motivates me to be able to lead a better story, I think. But yeah, I lead an organization called Plywood People. Plywood is a nonprofit here in Atlanta that leads a community of startups doing good. In the last 4.5 years, we've been able to work with 240 startup projects.
Wow. That's enormous.
Yeah, it's crazy. Some are flourishing today, and some have already failed, right? Like that's kind of the nature of startup.
It's going to be, right?
Yeah. We work with for-profits, nonprofits. We work with a lot of for-profits that have yet to make a profit. But, it's the common trait, I would say, in all these people is that they see things that are broken in this world. They want to be a part of fixing it. They don't necessarily think that they are the savior. It's very common, but they are willing to do and give their life to this project, even if they just move the needle to be a little bit to be better. And that's the common nature of this community that I've been able to be a part of. So that's what we get to do every day. How that plays out, we have a large event we do called Plywood Presents once a year. We have retreats we do 4 times a year, which are kind of like intensives with these projects. We have a digital curriculum now that we call Path by Plywood, after working with a couple hundred projects, like what are the common things that we could help other people in. And we have a small co-working space here that we call Plywood Place. We have a whole bunch of different programming things that we do, but my favorite part of it is to sit one-on-one like I'm with you, with a person that has incredible passion towards a project that in some way connects with their life. This is when I'm like, when I see a problem, they see a problem, they feel a sense of calling to address, and it connects with their personal story. I know that they're not going to give up when the money runs out. I know that this is a longer term perspective and something that they have to see succeed. And I want to get behind those people. I want to use whatever connections I have. I want